thank you, and indeed it is a delight to be back here in the Bay Area and to be here on a topic that I think is of intense importance to the future of the country and the future of our own Homeland Security. Thank you for that introduction, and thank you to the Berkeley community for having me here today. Now, I've been on something of a college speaking tour this year, and I always enjoy being at the great universities of the country like Cal Berkeley. Last month I was at another university, you may have heard of MIT, speaking about a similar topic area. So I view this as kind of an East versus West, what have you, and we will see how the results obtain. I began this series of remarks at universities last January at George Washington University. And there I gave an address on the overall state of our Homeland Security. And I said then that we were better prepared than we were prior to 9/11 in terms of interdiction, prevention, and response. And then that we are better prepared than we were 10 years ago, 8 years ago, and 6 years ago, 4 and 2. You get the sequence. But that does not mean that we can sit still. If these were ordinary times, what we were doing in the Homeland Security area might be good enough to say we are safe enough. But these are not ordinary times. This is a period of intense transition for the world. And indeed, terrorist threats have not gone away. They have evolved, they have diversified, and they have moved from being international in origin to being both international and domestic. And so we have to evolve as well. And we have to evolve in the ways we think about security, what it means, what this thing called Homeland Security means, how we go about it, and how we go about making sure that we have provided the maximum safety we can for the country while minimizing the risks that terrorists could indeed interrupt us and disrupt our way of life. So if you go back to 9/11, 2001, we're about ready to commemorate the 10th anniversary. I suspect some of you were, well, maybe very young, very young. But if you go back to that point in time, think about that in terms of cyber, right? We were still a few years away from the start of the Web 2.0. Social media did not exist, certainly in the ways that we conceive it and use it today. And so the whole cyber world in 10 years is a very different world now than it was. And that is a good thing, but it also carries with it now a number of different types of threats that we have to be cognizant of. The pace of innovation has accelerated. Things have become more decentralized. The methods of attack have also accelerated, and they too have become decentralized. So we have had to, at the Department of Homeland Security, step back and really for the first time in our nation's history, think of cyberspace as its own domain. As its own security domain, and what is required to protect and secure that domain. And the President recognized this shortly after taking office. He assigned people to do a complete cyber review of the federal government to analyze where roles and responsibilities should be, where the lines of authorities should go, and so forth. In that review, came out with a number of divisions. One is that for the military side of the universe, the so-called DOT mill, that the Department of Defense would have the lead. But for the civilian side of the government and for the intersection with the private sector, the Department of Homeland Security would have the lead. And if you think of securing cyberspace with that basic division in mind, it makes it a little easier to decipher the federal government. And then the next key challenge was for us to ascertain how to interact with the NSA, because the technological assets of our country, many of them are embodied within the NSA, and we're not in a position to have two of them. So the question was, how do you interact with it on the civilian side as well as in the chain of command on the military side? That question was answered via a memorandum of understanding that Secretary Gates and I executed last summer, which permits interaction or exchange between the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security, and indeed the deployment of DHS personnel at the NSA directly, as well as DHS personnel at Defense and Defense personnel at DHS. And you begin getting that cross-pollination all the time, recognizing that to the extent we, on the civilian side, are utilizing some of the assets of the NSA, we built into it protections for privacy, protections for civil liberties, constitutional protections, and the like. Things that apply on the civilian side that don't necessarily apply on the military side. And so we are now in the process of implementing that basic understanding as well. We are working hard across the government to drive changes that recognize different roles we have to play. 2 weeks ago, the President released the National Strategy for Trusted Identities in Cyberspace, the so-called NSTIC. What it aims to do is to make online transactions more trustworthy in a simple but fundamental way by moving away from passwords and instead towards secure, reliable credentials available to consumers who want them. Instead of having to remember dozens of passwords, you have a single credential to use to log on to a website with more security than passwords alone can provide. And when you're not doing secure transactions, you can actually better protect your anonymity online. Now, dozens, if not hundreds, of companies could offer these credentials, which could be unique software on a smartphone, a smart card, or perhaps a token. You will have plenty of choices. But again, it's all about moving forward. So realize the steps that have been taken. One, recognize that cyberspace is a unique domain that deserves its own mission protection. Two, that we have to ascertain roles and responsibilities between defense and civilian. Three, we have to figure out how to use the technological resources of the NSA. Four, we have to begin providing greater protections and security for persons who are online. Another step forward, I think we will be able to see additional information available online. One thing you may have heard about, by the way, is tomorrow, and I know this will make you very sad, but tomorrow is the end of the color code system of ranking terrorism. So say